involved in the shooting. They were involved in the shooting in that they returned the fire in the air, a few shots, to hopefully discourage anyone from firing on us. But involved in shooting anyone, no. We did not shoot, maim, nor hurt anyone of the individuals that were involved in it.
What will happen now? Will you close this place?
Yes, as I said earlier, I voluntarily turned in my license to Doug Phillips of the Alcoholic Beverage Commission, and they remain in suspense at this time.
3 suspects in connection with the shooting incidents here last night were arrested early this morning in Arlington. However, all 3 were released with no charges filed. The Fort Worth Police Department has arrested an undisclosed number of suspects. All are being held in the city jail for questioning. However, no official charges have been filed against any one person as yet. The suspected murder weapon, has been recovered. No film of that weapon has been allowed to be taken. A liquor store here in the same shopping center as the Electric Circus has decided to move due to last night's shooting incidents and due to prior incidents earlier this year at the Electric Circus. The Fort Worth Police Department will probably be pleasantly surprised that the management here has decided to voluntarily close business. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to educate the public, the general public, as to what the problem of shoplifting is. A moral problem. It's a crime, of course. It's a sin to steal, and it's a crime to steal. And in addition to that, if the most conservative figure we can get as to how much is lost annually in shoplifting in Fort Worth is $20 to $30 million. Now, who pays for this $20 to $30 million? Someone has to pay for it. So what happens is the honest customer pays for this theft by a dishonest shoplifter.
By raising prices?
By the price. It's built into the price of the merchandise. If the merchants did not have to contend with this $20 to $30 million shoplifting problem, the prices would be lower. So nationally now, the theme is the freeze on wages and freeze on prices. Let's freeze shoplifting as well. So we've cut the inflation of prices that way too.
No. There is a little rancor. This is no time for name calling, but and it does have a good service, perform a good service. But there's a lot, much. It reads kind of like a bad Laurel and Hardy movie. This thing. 20 days after I get it, and people start after me, and I have to prove myself within 20 days, and that's unbelievable. And there are even people on that staff now, on the board of directors, that feel strongly that an attorney should, that you don't have to be an attorney to be a director. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What do you think the Dallas Legal Services Project should do now?
Are we still on the air? No, not really. I better not say anything.
What will you do now?
I don't know. I'll be looking for a job. What does the next director do? I know he doesn't direct. I know that. But what does the next director do? I just don't know. Probably I could practice law here in Dallas, or if somebody needs an next director, why, they might contact me.
Sure.
Well, Jerry, as you know, last spring and this summer, you and I had a lot of discussion about the Mustang and the young, inexperienced team, and we certainly planned on trying to win our first conference game, and hopefully we'd improve enough to win our second ball game in the conference play against Texas Tech, and these things have come to pass, and of course, you know what our hopes are now. If we can pull 3 upsets in a row and beat the University of Texas, well, it'll be like Christmas coming early.
Will it take several breaks, do you feel, for the Mustangs to stand a chance to win this one?
Jerry, it will not only take a lot of breaks for the Mustangs, we're going to have to make big plays at critical times on offense and defense, and we will have to play greatly improved football against the University of Texas in order to have a chance. And, you know, being realistic, I still don't know if it's even possible to win, but we have to believe that it is, and this is what we're striving for.
Robert, what kind of a game do you think you'll have to play against Texas to beat them?
Well, we'll have to play a great game to beat them. We'll have to hustle and out-hit them and out-hustle them to beat them.
Who will you have to stop in the running game?
everybody really, because every one of the people in the backfield will hurt you if you don't watch them.
You feel that Wigginton is recovered sufficiently to run that option?
Oh, I think so. We watched him in the films this week. He didn't seem like he was slow to me.
What would be your particular duties in their running game?
Well, I'll mainly be backing up most people. You know, I'll be supporting to the outside.
You had good luck last week against Texas Tech. Do you figure they'll be throwing many passes? And if so, what are your opportunities of intercepting any?
Well, I don't know. I think they'll try to hit us we're least expecting, probably on 1st and 10 around in there, and we'll be watching for that. They'll try to go for the home run on us.
Not many people expected SMU to be 2-0 at this time. Is it some sort of an intangible, something you can't put your finger on that has given you this spirit and this determination to be this far?
Well, I think everybody on the team really didn't think we'd do that good at the first season, but when the conference rolled around, I thought everybody thought we'd do pretty good then, because it just took time to get our offense in, and everybody was young, so I think we're coming along just fine right now.
This is the 8500 block of Greenville Avenue in North Dallas, where already 3 people have lost their lives this month when floods from White Rock Creek swept across this low-lying section of road. Dallas officials now think they may have a solution to that problem. Here where you see these gates, other gates are going to be put up across the road along with automatic sensing devices, which will tell the Dallas Public Works Department when water gets too high on the road for automobiles to safely go through this area. I talked with John Teipel of the Dallas Public Works Department about what he thinks the new sensing devices will do.
When they sound, we set them at an elevation that will give us warning of the rising waters in time to implement our mobilization plan and get units to the scene to properly secure the street crossing location. Now obviously we'll have a number of rains where the water sets off the alarm and then fails to rise all the way and close the street. But we will make a judgment on the selection of that elevation to ensure that in the event of a severe rain that we will be able to get there in ample time.
8 of the sensing devices altogether will go in Dallas, mostly in areas where flooding is known to occur. Teipel says he doesn't know exactly when the sense systems will be put in, but he says they will be before the flood season in April. City officials also are not really sure how much they'll cost, but however much they cost in money, it's better than losing lives. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move on Greenville Avenue in North Dallas.
I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. Well, out here in Euless, some of those trees are being preserved. One developer, the Ralden Corporation, is moving trees from lots that have too many to lots that don't have any at all. I asked John Ott why his company is doing this.
We're trying to preserve the ecology and trying to put a little more evaluation on the property.
How much is all this costing?
Oh, somewhere in the vicinity of about $4,000 just for moving about 50 trees.
Are you going to continue this in the future?
Yes, we have another area that we're going to build on, and it's very heavily treed, and then we're going to move trees to an area which is bald and doesn't have any.
Is this giving you any kind of advantage in selling, for example?
Oh, it certainly does, very much so.
Ott says that before it's all over, Ralden Corporation will have moved about 200 trees to new locations. Environmentalists should be happy. At least it's one indication of the growing concern among American businesses for the preservation of the ecology. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move in Euless.
In the past, there's been a shortage of teachers, And I understand that in some areas it's even more so now, and some people are attributing this to an appreciable exodus of teachers into industry. Why do you say this is happening?
I really don't observe this at this time. Now, we've had a shortage of teachers back through the years, and I've been in the business now for some 21 years, 18 of it as superintendent of school, and I've never had the opportunity to interview teachers. Teachers have interviewed me in the past.
Yes, we are working with Donald Rumsfeld, the undersecretary who's in charge of the Cost of Living Board. Hopefully at the end of the 90 days, price and wage freeze, which will be on November the 13th, Texas teachers' salary increases will begin. I have contacted the undersecretary and discussed this with him. I've submitted to him in writing a request pointing out the merits of Texas public school teachers receiving their already appropriated salary increases. Texas teachers are in a very unique position. Texas fiscal year begins September the 1st. All other states' fiscal years begin on July the 1st. So every other state's public school teachers receive their increases that have been appropriated by the legislature. Because of our unique fiscal year, Texas school teachers have not been paid the money that was appropriated to them by the legislature. I hope that we can be successful on November the 13th and Texas teacher salary increases can begin at that time.
Oh, he's definitely one of the best. I think he's probably a harder hitter than anybody in the league. But when it comes to agility, you have to go along with Willie Lanier, and Tommy Nomis, before he hurt his knee, was an excellent middle linebacker. But I think when it comes to all-out contact, and that's the type of battle we're in for this coming Sunday, Dick Butkus he exemplifies what the Bears have on defense.
He's also the kind who will sometimes try to vocally intimidate you. He's quite a holler guy in the field, I understand.
Yeah, he yells quite a bit, and he gets his own defensive players up. I think we're mature enough that it's not going to bother us. Might get a little hot-headed at times, but I think we'll keep our poise and just go out there, and our game plan is going to be just go out there and play a good, solid game. Pick away at them at the runs and hope to get a pass in here and there, and it's going to be a real good game.
Would you try, Dave, do you think, to go at their strength, to test the middle with your ground game?
Well, there's strength. From what I've seen in the scouting report so far, both tackles are real strong, both ends are real strong, and there are no weaknesses. The linebackers, as three linebackers, they're excellent. And I think their front seven personnel is just excellent, and we're going to have to go at them one way or another.
Not much choice. They're a bit of a surprise, though, aren't they? I mean, to be 4-2 and to have beaten Minnesota and Detroit so far?
I would say at this time of the year, they're the surprise team in the NFL.
Joe, how much confidence do you have now switching from the defense to the offense?
Well, to start off with, it's been a little rough right now. I thought when I was playing defense, I thought playing the wing was probably one of the easiest jobs in the world, but I sure found out different. There's so much more to do up there, and you're getting hit instead of hitting the guys, and you always have to worry about a back checker and front of the net, forechecking, stuff like that. It's just, it's a whole different game up there.
How long do you figure it'll be before you get your confidence that you really can play on the wing as well as you did on the defense?
Well, I think if I can get a couple goals playing on the wing, I should be able to get going there. I've had a lot of good chances, and last game I had about 10 shots on net, and either I'm hurrying myself or something, I don't know yet, but I would say once I get a couple goals, that should get me going on the right track anyways.
What do you think about Dallas? How many times have you played them, and what's the score been? How do they rate with you?
Well, we just played them the once. We had 1-1 tie there, and I think they've got a pretty fair club this year. I don't know about their goaltending, but their defense is big and strong. They don't let you stand around in front of the net at all, and their forwards, they can skate with anybody in the league, you know. And they're hustling forwards. They forecheck well, but I know they're going to be confident going into their own rink tonight. Naturally, everybody is on their home opener, but I think with our ability in our club, we've got some of the faster guys in the league, and I think we should do okay against them.
Since animals have no souls, what is the purpose of having them blessed like this?
Well, the question about animals is simply that they're part of God's creation, just like we are, and the grass is, and the sky, and everything else. And the Bible is very emphatic about the importance of animals and man's association with them. So we bless them and set them apart and remember that they are a part of God's creation just like we are. And together we make this world what we make of it.
It's part of an ecology move of some sort?
Oh, I think everything has got to be a part of some ecology movement. We've got to come together in this world, and the more responsibility we can teach these children for taking care of little puppies and animals, we hope it'll do a little bit better with the world too.
Sarah, why did you bring your turtle today to be blessed?
I wanted to.
Why?
I don't know.
Was he sick or something?
No.
Is he a good turtle?
Yeah.
Do you love him?
Yeah.
Mr. Hammond was a good director. I have no criticisms of his directing at all.
Well, what was wrong? Why was he fired?
Mr. Hammond and the target area people never got together.
Why?
This I couldn't say.
Was it because he was absent from the office so much when he first got here?
No, they tried to get him out before he even came to the office the first day, so that couldn't be all it.
Was it because he was white?
No.
I know that when the elections were held, they wanted a black man to be head of this organization.
It's just that they had talked to a black man that they found that qualified and that they wanted. And instead, they got somebody that the Bar Association had recommended. That was the whole hang-up.
Do you feel that Mr. Hammond was given a fair chance?
I wouldn't like to comment on that.
You did today at noon.
Sure.
And I believe you told me that you didn't think he had a fair chance.
No, I didn't tell you exactly that. I told you they didn't give him a chance to get in the office before they started on him, and they stayed on him. They didn't give up on him.
He went across the street, and there was a guy fixing to get in his car, and he ran over to him and pointed a gun at him, and the man started running up the street, and he fired a shot or two at him, and then
Did he hit him?
As far as I know, he didn't. And then he went back across the street over there, and
what happened when the police? What happened when the police arrived? What did he do?
well, the policeman drove up, and he came over towards the store where I was at, and then I pinpointed the man out. I told him that was him over there, the one who was doing the shooting. And then the man started walking in between the buildings, and then the policeman went over there where he was at, and the man started running, and they ran behind between those buildings over there, I guess. And this is all I saw after that.
Did you hear any shots in?
I heard one shot.
Yes, I share it very definitely. The rationale that Dean Quillian just mentioned about one of the reasons for bringing this kind of material into a classroom is, first of all, the educational value of doing it in terms of helping a person have some kind of contact with data, real data in the world with regard to human sexuality that he might not have otherwise. But secondly, that the contact contributes to the desensitizing, I call it desensitizing of curiosity about sex, picking up on Dean Quillian's comment, which then helps a person, as he's a minister to persons with sexual problems in the future, be able to deal with the person rather than simply being curious about the sexual problem. That if he doesn't get that out of the way, he simply won't be able to minister effectively.
Being an instructor in pastoral.
Now somebody say, why don't you take your tent and go off out there in the field somewhere where you won't bother nobody? Why don't they take the bank out there in the field somewhere? Why don't you take the business places out there in the field? Our senior citizens, most of them ride buses. And when we go way off out somewhere in an area that our senior citizens can't ride the buses, and they can't walk, they can't get to it. It denies them the privilege. Let me tell you something, friends. Somebody might say, well, how many tents you think ought to be in Dallas? Check how many saloons there are. Check how many permits there are for liquor, and then I'll say we need that many tents here in Dallas. And I say that this ordinance is unconstitutional, and I don't believe it'll stand in Supreme Court. And if God will help me and give me the money, I will go clear to the Supreme Court to see this thing repealed.
What's your name?
Arkadelphia Throckmorton.
Are the kids running true to form as Halloween goes?
Well, they seem to be having a very good time.
How many kids do we have here today?
Oh, I don't know. I could make an estimation of about 30, maybe more.
And today is the official day for trick-or-treating in Dallas?
Yes, there has been some discrimination as to which day it should be, but it's either today or tomorrow.
As of which day do you prefer?
Tomorrow, at midnight.
Hi, what's your name?
Deborah Moore.
Deborah? What does Halloween mean to you? What do you do on Halloween?
Go trick-or-treating.
And what do you expect to get while you're trick-or-treating?
Candy.
What does the witch do?
Flies on a broom.
What's your name?
Charles Jester.
Charles, what do you do on Halloween?
We'll go around scaring people, taking candy.
When you go to someone's house, what do you say?
Trick or treat.
And if they don't treat you, what do you do?
Well, forget it and go to the next house.
Is there such thing as witches?
Well, yes, my sister.
Your sister?
Her.
What do witches do?
They go around. Yeah. They were threatening to turn me into a frog and a